Hi, my name is Lori Borthwick, and I'm part of the tree planting committee, and I'm on the board of the Quinte Field Naturalists. I'm the Advocacy Chair of the Quinte Field Naturalists. And this we see around us here is a native pollinator plant planting that we're doing in the center of the new Sunny Belch Park, Clifford Sunny Belch Park. Half of the money was raised by the Quinte Field Naturalists, and the other half was the City of Belleville. And we worked together on these projects with Roland Cave Brown Cave, who's been great to work with us. And our tree planting committee is led by Greg Parsons, and he really is the wind beneath all of our wings. He knows so much about plantings, and he's so adept at knowing what plants to put where. And not only do we do our plantings, but we maintain them over the years. So, for instance, last year in this field, we planted over 200 trees and shrubs. People will see it. It has beautiful pink flowers and a large cone that's kind of almost a yellowish green, and it creates seeds. So those seeds will feed birds, and as well, pollinators love it. 40% of our pollinators are at risk of extinction right now. So planting native plants on the landscape is going to be feeding these pollinators. So we're pretty excited. So to be planting the echinacea. Over there we have red cardinal flower. And you can see how tall it is. And it has a lot of really delicious nectar. And it's one of the ones that hummingbirds, they love that. Also butterflies are able to use the cardinal flower. And the head of our tree planting committee, Greg Parsons, has a patch of it in his yard, which is just across the road here. And we have video of like 10, 12, 15 monarchs all at once, just nectaring in that area. So at this time when the butterflies and bees and birds all need so much assistance, it's so exciting to be able to be planting things that we know are going to be making their lives easier going forward. I moved to Belleville in 1989 when I started at the hospital, so I'm new to the area. Sometimes you have to think outside the box when you have 1,800 plants to get in the ground. So these little plants, they're so small right now, but they're going to grow into very, very tall stands of purple flowers, and they're going to feed a lot of butterflies. We really do depend on volunteer work to get this done. And we have people of all ages that come out and help. Native plants are not in a hurry, so they'll come back up next year, and they'll bloom next year as well. And a lot of them are going to drop seeds, and the seeds are going to make more plants. So eventually, this area will be just plant like a waving meadow of plants. It'll be beautiful. We've also planted down at the Shirley Langer Trail, which is right along the waterfront in Belleville. And we have done plantings in Tweed Park, and we have pollinator gardens, 2 pollinator gardens in Tweed as well. So we're kind of branching out and expanding a little bit every time, but we just know how important it is to have nature on the landscape, and this kind of mixed use area where people can enjoy it, but nature can also be provided for, I think is going to be so important. It only takes 2 or 3 native plants in your yard to make a huge difference for nature and birds, and especially our native bees. The Cascade planting, we had 62 volunteers from Parkdale. In addition, the people you see here are, often they've taken the day off work and come and worked much harder than they would at work. And so a lot of them are QFN members, but a lot of them are just people that saw the advertising as well and have come to help us. But anyone that has a yellow hat, they're a QFN volunteer. For the last 3 years, we've had 2 plantings a year. This year, we kind of expanded to 3 because we don't just plant the trees. We have days where, like weekends or during the week where we're watering especially this year. So we have watering groups, and you just sign up for an hour and a half to come and water. We have removed dog strangling vine and some invasive plants from our plantings. So we do maintain and weed as well. So just go to quintefieldnaturalist.org. And the other place, if you really want to get involved and do good work for nature, is you can always go to the Quinte Conservation site. There's also a Quinte Urban Tree Network group that is doing things about saving seeds and seed and plantings as well. And they have an event called Seedy Saturday coming up as well. But that'll be in February. Great place to come and get seeds. If you want seeds even for a vegetable garden, and we had seeds donated. And so this year I planted my vegetable garden without any seeds that had to be purchased. And that's another amazing thing to do for resilience, is not just these plants that will bloom year after year and provide nectar and pollen for our pollinator plants in nature, but as well you can get vegetables, which are also needed for humans. Quinte Conservation has been an amazing partner to work with at our plantings. The one in Cascade Park, they were full partners and helped us with the organization planning and with the watering. So if you go through a place with short grass and no native plants on the landscape, you're not going to hear any of the beautiful sounds of nature. This is an aster, and it is a huge source of pollen and nectar in the fall. Over here we have goldenrod, which people believe causes allergies, but it actually doesn't. That's ragweed, for which it's often confused. But this is just a magnet for wasps and butterflies. Each one of these tiny yellow flowers, they're starting to turn to seed here. So anytime you see a plant being eaten by a caterpillar, it's good news. It means that there's going to be food for the baby chickadees. And they're not the only birds that feed their babies caterpillars. It's routine. Almost every bird feeds their babies caterpillars. If you want to find native plants, there's multiple ways you can do it. The best way is to go to a native plant nursery like Natural Themes, which is in Frankfurt, or Drop Seed in the county, or come to the Quinte Field Naturalist plant sale. We always have lots of native plants, so that's the long weekend, Saturday of the long weekend in May. Come to the Seed Exchange in February, Seedy Saturday, which is going to be held at Centennial High School. There'll be lots of seeds. And with native plants, the other thing you can do is, if you see a beautiful amount of perhaps like an aster or goldenrod or Joe Pye weed, any of those wonderful plants on the landscape, you can take a very small amount, very small, and you can take those seeds, mix them with some sand or earth, put them where you want them for next year, and just forget about them, because that's how native plants work. Pretty easy. So you can do that, but we really do always want to tell people, don't take all of the seeds, because they are needed for the birds, as well as needed to propagate more of the same plant in future years. So never take more than a third. And if it's just for you, I would just take one seed head. That's plenty. Lots of seeds in there. We're just hoping more people learn about how important it is to build space in nature.